are formed. The Nigeria Defense Academy is located in Kaduna State. And when bandits stampeded the school last year, killed 2 soldiers and made away with 1, this sent shivers down spines across the length and breadth of the country. The abductions have been ceaseless. Some school children have been marched away from their hostels at night. Undergraduates from higher institutions have been kidnapped. Travelers have also been abducted. And most dreadfully, the epidemic of abductions continue unabated. Only recently, within a space of days, bandits invaded the Kaduna airport, attacked Kaduna-bound trains where lives were lost and many wounded. Then gunmen attacked a military base in Birnin Gwari local government area, killing soldiers in a gun duel. Faced with an increasingly tenuous security situation, the governor, Nasser El-Rufai, has struggled to douse the flames that are determined to consume the state, with the latest being his move towards engaging mercenaries to fight this cause. All of these throw up many questions. Why Kaduna State? How do these criminals work so efficiently? Where do the victims? Who are those that make their operations sail so smoothly? Our focus today on the big issue is Kaduna attacks, the new curve of insecurity in Nigeria. Leading the discussion is Alhaji Sulaiman Garba Gora. He is a retired civil servant from the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. A Gora community leader in Zagon Kataf, southern Kaduna. He is vast in public sector management and a stern observer of the polity in northern Nigeria. Thank you, Alhaji Garba Gora, for joining me on the big issue.
Thank you for inviting me.
Like I said in my opening, for many years now, Kaduna State, has not really known peace. It's from one crisis to another. It seems death and destructions are the order of the day. I'd like you to share your thesis on how all of this started.
When you talk about the issue that started as well, but when you look at the current challenges, you find that the challenges are all over the north, if not all over Nigeria. But let me just take you briefly. Prior to about 30 years ago, that is, let us say, the famous Zango Kataf crisis of 1992, whereby there was a crisis between the Kataf people and the Hausa Fulani settlement in Zango Kataf. We had relative peace, but that wasn't even what started. It started with the Kafanchan crisis of, I think, 1987, a religious crisis whereby a supposed preacher went and in trying to preach, he was quoting the scripture of the opposing religion, and the people felt that he was doing the wrong quotation or wrong interpretation. That led to the crisis, and that was the beginning of religious crisis within Kaduna. Then you also remember the issue of the Miss Nigeria contest that was proposed to take place, Miss World, that was to take place in Nigeria. And there was also the issue of people rioting, saying it is anti-religion and all these things, they shouldn't do it. So these are some of the things that gave birth to the mistrust and insecurity that you find. 1992, as a result of Zango, like I said, was the main one that gave birth to what we call the division that you find within Kaduna State today, whereby most of the Christians and other non-Muslim people moved to one side, and the Muslims who were within the Christians also moved to one side. But over the years, there has been several attempts by government to see what they can do in order to bring back the unity that we had based on our diversity, regardless of your tribe or religion. Don't forget that Kaduna is cosmopolitan and used to be the headquarters of northern Nigeria. So Kaduna is a place whereby you find virtually every Nigerian is there. And up to today, a lot of people from northern Nigeria, especially the elites, when they work either in federal government or anything, you find that they go back to Kaduna to sit, and that's gave back to what they used to call the Kaduna Mafia of those days. So it's a boiling point, it's an economic center, it's a political center. So there are so many factors that make Kaduna what it is. And you have just mentioned, there are so many federal institutions. Because when during the post-independence and immediately after independence, Kaduna was the place where you could get access to land to establish so many institutions. That's why you have the NDA, you have the Army Depot in Zaria, you have the Jaji Training Center for the Army, you have the university, you have the aviation school, and so many other things. So you can see Kaduna is a center. Now, unfortunately, people tend to give coloration to what is happening in Kaduna based on their understanding without understanding what are actually the challenges. Currently, there are three types of challenges, security challenges that in Kaduna. There is one driven by the kidnapping, which is common. This came from Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto axis before coming to Kaduna. There is the Boko Haram, which is the most recent and the most dangerous that have just cropped into the challenges we are facing in terms of insecurity in the north and in Kaduna in particular. And there is also the community crisis. That's the one that happened mostly within southern Kaduna between those considered indigenous and settlers. And then there is the one based on the economic prosperity of the northern part of Kaduna State, those who have been involved in agriculture. Within the last 5 to 6 years, people have done excellently in agriculture, and we had this group of kidnappers who realized that there is prosperity within these people. Immediately, you cultivate your crops and you sell and you make some millions. Somebody is aware of it. Before you know anything, he has organized. And unfortunately, even people who are indigenous to those areas are the people who are conspiring with outsiders to come and rob you. They'll say, where is the money that you realized in selling this or doing it the last market day and all that. So those are some of the challenges that we're in. Then the worrisome one that I'm trying to talk about is the infiltration of Boko Haram into all these crises that are. You are aware there have been serious onslaught on Boko Haram in the northeast, and they have been looking for a new haven. So what they have done is that most of them have migrated between the Zambisa going to Zamfara and moving on. If you look at the forest from Zambisa, it moved down to Zamfara up to what they call the Kamugu forest in Nungwari in Kaduna State. And this particular stretch that I'm talking is a very rich stretch in terms of gold deposits. Most of the illegal mining that takes place is done along that route. Prior to this time, a lot of political leaders and some illegal merchants of gold mining concentrated in hiring these individuals that we are talking who have become a nuisance to us as people to protect their territories in order for them to flourish in their illegal activities of mining.
Some have accused the governor, Nasser El-Rufai, for handling the situation poorly, as most of the notable crises, for example, the Islamic movement in Nigeria's case, IMN, other religious as well as ethnic and political crises as well, that he didn't handle them well. How would you judge the role of the governor in all of this?
When there is an attack in Benue State, as the governor will come out and shout, the press and all other people will sit down and blame the federal government. Why is it that if the same attacks take place in Kaduna, they tend to blame El-Rufai, they don't blame the federal government, as if El-Rufai has its own army and police? Let us look at what is happening in Zamfara State. Look at what is happening in Katsina. Even when there was protest in Katsina, protest in all these places where they protest come, they say El-Rufai. But you see that El-Rufai is somebody who has the audacity of saying it the way it is. There are a lot of people that cannot stomach it. But the truth of the matter is that there is nobody that have done much for security, architecture, development, like El-Rufai, especially in Kaduna. I'm talking from experience. Apart from that, I'm from southern Kaduna, and I have been involved in peace and reconciliation committees for the last 3 to 4 years. And the whole essence is that when we look at it, every state governor that you find, he has limitation in terms of what he can do. The highest he can do is to give support. And if you look at the kind of logistic support that Kaduna state government have given to the federal institutions, security institutions, the DSS, the police, and the army, and the air force, and even the Navy, they have a school in Kachia in southern part of Kaduna, then you will know that the Kaduna state government has done a lot along that one. You see, the major problem we are having is that, like I used to tell people who don't know, there are two interpretations to crisis in Kaduna. When there are attacks by bandits in southern part of Kaduna, where I come from, there is tribal and religious connotation that the fact is that they want to take our land, they are attacking us and not. But if it takes place in northern part of the state, whereby, for example, if you look at the total number of killings that have taken place in the southern part of the state, compared to just even what local government in the central senatorial district of the state, you discover that of Biningwari is more than 100% over what has taken place there. But people don't look at it because of they are of the same tribe, they are of the same religion and all these things. So people, for political reasons, tend to give it. But the issue is that, are we really solving the problem when we tend to look at everything that happened through the lenses of religion or tribe or sectionalism and things like that? That is the major problem. Some of us have spent the last 3 to 4 years going, even at the risk of our life, talking to people for them to understand that if we continue to politicize whatever is happening and without looking at it, what we need to do is community policing.
Despite promises to make Nigeria's train network safer following the attack in October last year, little progress seems to have been made. Is it up to say Nigerians are finally convinced that nowhere is safe in the country?
Nigeria. I can see other places we don't have much, like the Southwest, we don't have much of that problem. The Central, we don't have much of it. But I can be specific here is the Northwest of Northern. Northwest is made up of these 8 states that you find that these people are doing. Even the Northeast, that used to be the hub of insecurity, you can discover there's some kind of relative peace within that area. So we cannot say the whole of Nigeria, because in other places, and our challenges differ. When you look at, you go to the south, it is issue of between IPOP and other people. We have criminality all over Nigeria. A lot of people tend to look at it and go into it. And the saddest aspect of all this thing is the politicization of what we are doing, especially by those people who want to make political capital of insecurity. The issue is that Nigeria needs to be peaceful, prosperous for you to come out and say you want to rule me. But if you want to be part of those that will destroy Nigeria, I don't know who you will come and rule. And that is the tragedy that we are having today. The politicians have looked at it, the selfishness, the so many things that we are doing. Like I started, I just said in the last minute, everybody needs to be involved. We must go back to community policing. Community policing means that everybody knows what is happening. If you go to UK today or US, anything that people are sitting down, apart from the CCTV, citizens themselves are witnesses to what happened. they will ask, somebody will come and say, oh, Mr. A.
Alhaji Gora, are you saying that there's a political undertone to all of these attacks? Is that what you're saying?
There is. There is. There is no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. When you look at it, let me ask you, to be honest with you, you have grown, wherever you are, if you are in Nigeria, you know what the local Fulani man is, or whatever it is. Let us assume it is herdman. Is it possible for a herdman to have up to 200 machines, brand new one, and in each of these machines they have 2 or 3 of them on top, and each of them well armed, and you will see pick up Hilux van about 10, 20 going for operation. Even in the railways region, most of the people that were taken, they were taken in a vehicle. Who organized that? There are certain forces behind these things. And some of us tend to wonder, what do they tend to achieve by all these things? We have been told several times that the issue is that we get to wonder, what is our security doing? What is the intelligence? Why is it that when we have actionable intelligence, we don't act? Because intelligence comes in different forms. There is actionable intelligence that you don't get it. There is observable, the one that you don't, you will just be observant and make sure the likelihood of the breach of peace or breach of security is curtailed. You don't allow them. There's one. It is definitely going to happen, and you need to act immediately, which is what we call the actionable intelligence. And these are all things that will come. So you get worried, why are these things not working? But at the end of the day, it comes back to me and you until we sit down. Because when I was growing up in my village, anybody that my father, I'm a traditional ruler. My father was a traditional ruler. My grandfather was a traditional ruler. And every time somebody comes to the community, he's brought to our house. We know him, we monitor. If the Fulani man goes into the bush to rear his cows, the next thing is that when he's come back after that, if he sees any strange Fulani man with cows coming, he will come and report to the leader whom they call the RP. That there is a new story in the bush.
Okay, there were 362 registered passengers on board the train when it was raided. However, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has not said whether the 168 people believed to be missing are all customers or if some train staff are among them. Reuters news agency quoted relatives of some of the missing as saying suspected bandits had contacted them to tell them they were holding their loved ones hostage. What moves, in your observation, of the polity has been made by Kaduna State government and the federal government to secure the release of these captives?
It happened along a route. Unfortunately, this route passed through Kaduna State. So that does not make it the responsibility of Kaduna State in the real sense of it. It makes it the responsibility of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, who are carrying these people, and the federal government, who has the responsibility of making sure that all their means of transport are done. For example, if a plane is flying, and unfortunately there is an accident within an area, you don't blame the say, you look at what do you do. The issue is that there was communication. The Commissioner for Internal Security in Kaduna communicated with the army. There was quick response. Victims were rescued. Those that were left were rescued. Those that were taken away, that is a different way. But those who were injured, there was rescue, there was immediate medical attention given to them, and they were taken to the zoo, and there was evacuation. I myself, I have learned a lesson from this because I have come under urgency and I have been assisted by some of the religions by giving me a ticket, but the name is not bearing my name. It's unfortunate that this thing has happened and I'm inside. People will use that name, not me. So that is a likelihood. So that is why they have not been able to come out with the exact number of those that were kidnapped or taken away by these bandits, these Boko Haram people. If you look at the picture that is going around, of the managing director of Agri Bank that was released after payment of ransom according to what is going around. You can see the people there. You can see that they are entirely different from the rat bandits that we never have, that of the Fulani herdsmen bandits that normally look for money to collect. These are when from their own. You can see that these were the well-trained ISIS, Boko Haram people. The four of them that you can see, they were the women from all they are talking about. They are people who have that. And the technology even to blow the train. It is only them that train in bomb this thing. A man who wants to kidnap and collect money, I don't know if he will go and train himself how to bomb a place in order to live it.
According to a BBC report, there were about 18 policemen on board, across the 9 coaches. But they were outgunned and eventually ran out of ammunition. Does this narrative speak of government sincerity towards protecting lives of its citizens?
It doesn't well as a nation. I'm not a security man, but I'm one of those that feel that we fail in terms of taking the necessary measures. Normally, we travel. There are soldiers and policemen inside the train, but they were outgone. These people plan. Can you imagine? For more than 1.5 hours, they were shooting. That means they have social. And how many bullets do you think that our policemen carry? For somebody who is going from Abuja to Kaduna, you see them with one magazine. But these people have magazines that you could do it for a very long time. Look at the train. Look at what those bullets do. It is somebody who have excessive firepower that could do what they did in those particular areas.
The Transport Minister, Rotimi Amechi, said after last week's attack, permit me to quote him right now. He said, "I'm devastated and I honestly don't know what to tell Nigerians anymore. The process of procuring the integrated security surveillance and monitoring solution has been tedious. If the processes were shortened, we would have saved lives," end quote. This statement has unearthed, hidden ploys to mismanage taxpayers' money. What do you make of the statement by Mr. Amechi and the responses that greeted it from the presidency?
No, what Amechi said is, we keep saying we plan to do this. I would have said, this is what I have done, not what I plan to do. Why are we waiting until it has happened for us to do it? If it has been there, why haven't we done it? We have run this railway for how many years now? Forget about that one. What they are even talking from the discussion I've had with security experts and people both in and out of this country, friends who have called me to discuss about what has happened. If you put that one, it's not sufficient enough until you have a quick response group that, for example, if there is a breach, and they will be able to respond immediately and get to that position. And response from Abuja and Kaduna will be extremely difficult within that terrain, unless if you have within the areas where there are about 3 major areas that have become flashpoints of insecurity within that route, either on the road or on the train. There is what they call the Jere exit. If you have information within Jere, you have the Qatari, and along that road you just do the area exactly where the attack took place. That's when then immediately you are sure within 5-10 minutes somebody will respond. But imagine, because it took time, that's why they were able to operate for 1.5 hours before response came. So when you took, I can put anything and it will show. If what he's talking is possible, we will have done it with our NNPC lines, where oil lines, where we respond. But you are aware that we have lost more than 3 billion worth of liters within the last 2 years because as a result of that. Because the lines are there, they are porous. Even if you can see somebody is there, the response time is very weak. So until we sit down and we look at our security architecture and we design it to be functional, then that's when we can sit down. I am not a fan of this is what I want to do. I always want to say, what have you done, not what you want to do.
The Kaduna State Governor has called on the federal government to be alive to fighting insecurity in the northeast, or foreign mercenaries will be deployed. Would this address the security gap in the north, and considering innovative steps taken by governors in the southwest, setting up of Amotekun Corps, do you think El Rufai's dive towards mercenaries is savory?
No, I think he said that out of frustration. It's not that he actually meant it. You know, he's somebody who has done so much. The person who has seen it, and as a leader, he's so frustrated that all his effort, all his commitment is not yielding the kind of result. And for him, who feel that he's incapacitated, not because that he be done immediately. So you can see his frustration. It's somebody I know. What he said was that the truth, you know, it's a sovereign nation. You don't just bring people with guns and ammunition. It has to be, it's a subnational government. Even if it's the Nigerian government that decided to do that, like the Jonathans we learned did to some of the people that initially came when the Boko Haram started. That is a different one, but definitely a subnational government is limited in terms of capacity and powers to execute some of those decisions, even if he really meant to do it. So he will still be handicapped by the fact that it's a subnational government and he has no power to do that.
Finally, Alhaji Gora, before I let you go, what, in your view, does government need to do to prevent a recurrence of these attacks, not only in Kaduna State, but across the country?
We have to look at their security officers and tell them, look, we shouldn't be talking of territorial control. We will look at that. We have something that we need to do. So we have to do that. Then when we do that, we get all the people who have the necessary instrument of violence and lessons to use them on people who have gone contrary to the laws and norms of a society, to apply the appropriate based on the guidelines that are there. So for us, we need to work. Everybody, it is all over the country. But the issue, like I mentioned, is that we have stopped being caring about our environment. We are very careless. You see somebody, you don't bother. We have so many things that we're doing. We have to answer. Apart from that, we have to do this national orientation we are talking. We have to do that because we are losing our values. People, parents are leaving schools and churches to take care of their children and mold their character. We are forgetting that the first school in life is and the father. Any other person is to assist.
In the last 30 minutes or thereabouts, I have been speaking with a Gora community leader in Zagon Kataf, southern Kaduna, and a keen observer of the situation in Kaduna State. Thank you, Alhaji Garuba Gora, for sharing your perspectives with me on the big issue.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this discussion.
Thank you. We'll now take a break to take the news updates. Please join us again.
Good evening and welcome to News Update. Ondo State government has urged residents to disregard any report by the opposition People's Democratic Party on the planned demolition of the trade fair complex along Igbatoro Road in Akure. The government said tenants at the complex had been given ample notice prior to the demolition. In a statement, the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Donald Ojogo, said the desire of government is to turn the moribund trade fair complex, which had since been taken over by criminals, to a fruit-bearing business hub. Ojogo stressed the government's drive to engage stakeholders, especially private investors, to achieve its desires to bring the needed development to the people. On alleged plans to demolish the Accra Mall, the Commissioner for Information and Orientation urged residents to disregard the report, adding that the government remains committed to prioritizing their comfort and accelerating development of the state. President Muhammadu Buhari has decried the poor culture of accountability in the country and called for a cleanup. He also noted that professionals in various fields, especially accounting, should provide the strength and framework for thriving economies and promised that his administration will continue to engage experts to gain measurable and reliable results. President Buhari, who said this when he received a delegation from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, led by the President, Comforty Itayo, promised continuous engagement with the professional body to strengthen the nation's accounting system for growth. He noted the contributions of the Institute to ensuring probity, accountability and transparency, urging more diligence and professionalism. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a fundamental enforcement rights suit filed by suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari against the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA). Justice Inyang Ekho dismissed the suit after the counsel to NDLEA, Joseph Sunday, prayed the court that the matter be struck out. When the matter was called, Cynthia Ikenna, lawyer to Kyari, was absent. Justice Ekwo said he was informed that she sent a letter praying the court for an adjournment, but the letter was not filed by the lawyer and therefore not in compliance with the court rules. Expressing his surprise, counsel to the NDLEA said he was not copied the letter in accordance with the rule of the court and prayed the court to strike out the matter. The judge subsequently struck out the case. Justice Ekho, in a short ruling, had threatened to strike out the suit if the lawyer was unprepared by the next adjourned date. Moving on to sports, 9-time Africa champions and Nigeria's Super Falcons are preparing to take on Olympic champions Canada in the first of the double-header friendly lined up ahead of the 2022 Africa Women's Cup of Nations in Morocco. The number of players in the Super Falcons camp ahead of the game is now 17, following the arrival of former players. The latest arrivals are Amanda Madi, Peace Efi, and goalkeepers Chiamaka Ndo Nnazozie and Tochukwu Oluehi. Meanwhile, other players already in the camp are Yewande Balogun, Ifoma Onumonu, Uchenna Kanu, Onyi Echejini, Rashidat Ajibade, and Ogbonna Akudo. Also in the camp are Rita Chikwelu, Christy Ucheibe, Ashleg Plumter, Michelle Alozie, Tony Payne, and Nicole Payne. The first friendly comes up at 3:30 a.m. Nigeria time in the early hours of Saturday, while the second is billed for the same time on Tuesday. That's it on News Update. The comprehensive news bulletin is at 7. Big Issues continues shortly. Stay with us.
We are just moving from Abuja to Kaduna. So our train was attacked 10 minutes to 8. So we just had the sound of like a gunshot or anything. We can't judge what is that. So the train started shaking. After like some minutes, the train just fall down by its side. So after that, we started hearing the sound of a gunshot. So they just break the door of the train through the VIP side. They just came in, carry some people, many people, they shoot many people, they carry many people, take them inside the bush. After like 15 minutes, they come back again. they started shooting their gun. So we are lucky by that time the securities come and save us. I don't know what am I going to say, because we have a lot of insecurity in Nigeria, because by road we are not safe, by train we are not safe. So the thing is getting hard. And me, I saw these people with my eyes when they come in. They resemble, they are not Nigerians at all. So we just had a gunshot at the train. But before the gunshot, it was like a bomb, but we couldn't understand what was it. So all of a sudden we started hearing guns, guns, guns. And I was shot on my legs. And after that, I don't know what happened again. But we just lie down on the floor and we saw those guys busy abducting some of the passengers. I really feel bad.
When we keep moving, there is no touch that can see far.
Yeah.
And both left and right, we are moving inside bush. But as I move, hitting tree here and there, next thing I had, I was suspended a little. I didn't know that it's a ditch in front of me. So I fell inside the ditch. At that moment, I know if they met me there, it's dead. So I just say Shahadat and remain there. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, there is nothing. 4 minutes, there is nothing. I stayed there 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Mu da ne zaman da muka kama wayannan mutanen nan a jirgin ƙasa baya ga sanan da kun gansu wannan da cikin iko Allah da neman alfarma da ya ta yi da yanayin ganin tsofarsa da yi shine muka tausaya masa yanzu da yanayin wata na Ramadan muka fitar da shi za mu miƙa wa 'yan uwarsa. Amma wannan gwamnati kusan abin da kuke kai wannan ba komai bane, mun dai tausaya masa ne, mun miƙa masa. Gashi nan dai in yana da wani ƙarin bayanin da zai muku sai ya muku kuji daga bakinsa. Wannan dai shine insha Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ina so na shaida muku cewa
wannan takaitacce ne abin da muke faɗi. Ko ku gaggauta zuwa ku bincike mu ko kuma mu mai da mazaunin su fasa. Mun soke su ba wani abu wani a wurin kuma ba kuɗin ku muke bukata ba. Ko in don kuɗi ne ba za mu yi wannan abin ba, ko kun san me muke nema a gare ku. Ko ku gaggauta ko mu aiwatar da abin da muke bukata. Wannan shine sakon mu. Alhamdulillah.
Hello, welcome back to The Big Issue on this channel, Osrc TV. You can also watch us live because we live stream this program on www.osrctv.ng or follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Osrc TV Undo. You can also subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV, on YouTube to follow this program. On this segment of the show, like we said earlier before now, our focus is Kaduna attacks, the new curve of insecurity in Nigeria. And in this panelist session, I have with me Dr. Benga Abimbola, a university don and journalist. Thank you for joining me on The Big Issue.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
I also have with me a regular feature talking about Baba Tokwe Okeowo. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, we heard our lead discussant, Alhaji Garuba Gora. He was all about the fact that Governor El Rufai screamed as much as he could. He wrote to the Nigeria Railway Corporation, as well as got the necessary security agents involved when he had the intelligence report that there might be an attack on that last train ride to and fro Abuja. And nothing was done about it until it actually happened. On this show, we've talked a lot about intelligence gathering, in its role in security and securing the nation. What do you think would make it that we are not giving it its proper place in our scheme of things in Nigeria? I'll start with you, Dr. Abimbola.
Thank you. I think we take a cursory look at the situation in Nigeria. It didn't just start today. Recall that in recent past, the governor of Benue, Samuel Otom, he had accused the federal government of complicity in the the security situation in his state in those days, that several times he would send signals and send intelligence report to the president, and that even several times when he wanted to see the president physically, that
he was denied.
He was denied. He would be denied. So I'm just saying that it did not just start. The bottom line is this. It's quite unfortunate anyway, but we've listened to analysts, we've listened to insiders, and we've listened to watchers of events. The conclusion will be that the government of Nigeria has not handled the security situation very well, and that the government of Nigeria seemed to be playing politics with the security and lives of the people. Otherwise, recall that even this Kaduna rail, the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, also accused the government where he is serving that he proposed some technology,
for security,
for surveillance, and that the thing did not see the light of the day, or the thing was not implemented. So the same government, high-ranking government official for that matter, I should tell you that. So if somebody in the federal cabinet could lament so loudly, so what are you now saying about somebody who is not in
lamenting
the cabinet?
So loudly? Some would say that if he were in other climes, he would have resigned honorably, actually.
Yes, but the way he lamented showed that he was trying to exonerate himself, that what could have been done to prevent, he suggested, and he actually brought the memo to the Federal Executive Council, and the thing did not see the light of the day. That is to let you know that he was trying to say that he understood the situation and did whatever he could do within his own powers. So if you're asking him to resign, what of the head of the government himself? In other climes, the federal government, the head of the government will have thrown in the towel. I mean, sentiments apart, because the killings, even though it didn't start with this administration, but when it started, it was localized in the northeast when this government inherited the insecurity in Nigeria. But it has spread from northeast to the northwest to other parts of the country, and it's like northwest is hotter than any other region now. So what do we make out of this? And recall that but the herbalist, the native doctor, will be doing some incantations and preparing some concoctions, putting mark on the child so that it will not die again. But because by Yoruba mythology is Abiku, that means he must necessarily die. So he's now making ineffective of the efforts of the herbalist. That is what is happening to the Nigerian military. It's like there is sabotage somewhere. It's like there is more to this thing than meet the eye. It's not everything we can just say on air like that, but I just want to lay that foundation that I'm not surprised if the governor of Kaduna State is saying that, or was saying that he sent intelligence report that was not adhered to. I'm not absolving the governor himself, because the governor is the chief security officer of the state. Whatever is happening in Kaduna, it is not only the federal government that we should blame, we should also blame the state government, because what is the essence of government? Look at what the governor of Ondo State is doing here when the issue of headers, farmers clashes are started. He stood his ground and said, no, we must emplace Amoteku, and Amoteku must function. That if the governor of Ondo State, why I'm not holding brief, he even said if it will cost him his political ambition, that so be it. That is someone who who places premium on the lives of the citizens.
Why are we a bit different from what Dr. Ibula said? Is that governors, yes, in the face of it, they are the chief security officer.
On face value.
Yes, on the face value. But are they the real chief security officer? Can a governor order the commissioner of police around? Look at what that man said, Alhaji Gora. In Lagos State, a chief superintendent of police disobeyed the governor, elected governor. So, in the face of it, yes, the governor is the chief security officer of the state. Yet, it does not control any security forces, not even the police. Now, coming to the issue of Amotekun. Amotekun is carrying which weapon? As the federal government licensed them to carry sophisticated weapons, just like other armed forces or the police are carrying. No. So they now depend on native intelligence and little pump action that they are carrying. So you cannot actually blame the governor because the governor does not have such power to do most of the things we are blaming. Yes, to have the command to command the security forces or the other government's power of coercion. That's why you cannot blame the governor for it.
Okay.
But hold on. I know that, these things, we are talking about the foundation. We have not really, the political class, the leaders of this country, have not really addressed the issue. And that's what will take us to the issue of restructuring. So what Babatope Okewo is saying the truth. The governors, their chief security officers, just in name, they don't have the power of command. But we can make them to have the power of command by insisting on decentralization of policing, by insisting on
not talking about we the followers.
Yes, it's not we the follower we demand, then our representatives will now do the needful.
Take it up.
So we're able to talk about restructuring, devolution of powers. Now, how many of the governors, even in the north, are supporting this restructuring? It's like politically they feel that the southerners, the southeast and southwest, they are the ones crying for.
Yes,
they are the ones crying for restructuring. So you understand. So what we are saying is this: we must address the situation. We must go back and begin to look at it. And the truth is that Alhaji Gora, he also said something that is very instructive. He said, in those days, that everybody was his or her brother's keeper. The community, they know themselves. Even all these bandits that are in our forest now, do they not pass through some farmlands? Do they not pass through some farmsteads? Do they not buy from people in the community? Even in this state now, I know of a community where they sold a large expanse of land, even to these people. So some of the cows are owned by our own people. I'm just giving that as an example. So when we don't do the needful, in Kaduna has a history, especially north versus south, has a history of all these agitations. But
ethnic
and
religious
and all the rest. So the issue is that all these things, what is happening in Kaduna now is both internal and external. The internal conflict and the external people that are coming to dominate them and harass them. So these are the issues. So for now, let's just stop here and continue the debate. But what I'm saying is that the people, the government of Kaduna, the people of Kaduna, they have their own roles to play, but the biggest role goes to the federal government. If you are talking of the rail attack, of course, the Railway Corporation is owned by the government, by the federal government, and they should have their own.
Also to the federal government. All right, let's talk about the fact that he said, which I think you hinted, that it has political undertone. Talking about the security situation in our country, it's as if we intentionally do not have the political will to put an end to all of this. Alhaji Gora said something that these people come in sophisticated motorcycles that are like brand new. That even this one that happened with the train attack, they came in cars, clean cars, real good cars, and then they abducted these people. It's as if there are really people that do not want Nigeria to be safe. What do you say to that?
Let me just say it. When you are talking of political undertone, you have to look at the economic undertone. I think the economic undertone supersedes that of political undertone. It says something about mining gold illegally. And these people have been so armed to the extent that they can challenge the nation's sovereignty. So once somebody has so much money, then he can dare anything. He can now say he wants to take political power. Let us reverse and look back to 1993 when Abiola wanted to become president. I think one of the things one of the military men said is that we cannot give, this man cannot be so powerful economically and also have political power. But now we have somebody who has economic power wanting to take over the political power. So now they want to make the state or the country ungovernable so that they can also take political power. So I think it is interwoven.
So they want economic, they have that, and then they
Yes,
also
yes.
want
For instance, to have one motorcycle, just this small motorcycle here, I think it's about 250,000. No, I'm talking of this small one that they used to do Okada. It's about 250,000.
I think it's more than that.
It's more than that.
No, I just priced one. So I mean the cheapest.
Okay, maybe second hand.
So you see another one about 400. But when you are saying this one they want to use for this kind of operation, you see it will be very close to 1 million.
Yes.
So if somebody can procure about 200 and have Hilux vehicles, you know that the person that is actually leading that is a very wealthy individual or individuals.
Yes, and that is where the issue of intelligence comes in as well. And that is why this economic and political, he said they are interwoven, I agree. But the real truth is that should we now resign to fate and say because these people, they have the economic power, government, it is the responsibility of government. That means these bandits, me, I don't call them bad, I call them terrorists. Because what they are doing is beyond banditry. It's terrorism. These terrorists, they have sponsors. And if they have sponsors, you cannot just be attacking them on the field. You also have to fish out
to the roots.
Fish out their sponsors. And that's where the political issue comes in. The political will of the government. I will not sit back and believe that government will say it doesn't know. When I say government, I mean government, we have intelligence, we have agencies of government who are trained in this field.
I want to add something to it, sir.
Yes.
Now, people are preparing for election, and some people don't have money. So they run to those people. Please come and sponsor me. I want to be governor. I want to be senator. I want to be president. So if somebody has economic power, he starts sponsoring people to political offices, powerful political offices. Do you think those people he has sponsored with his hand money will now go against him? Because he knows the only thing is that we have to jig the system in such a way that these people will be decapitated. They won't have such economic power to sponsor people into political offices. If that one is done, then the military.
How do we begin to do that? Where Nigeria is a place where you can throw around so much money, nobody questions you.
Society now.
Yes, nobody questions you what you do for a living to earn such money.
That's what I'm saying. That our electoral system needs to be reworked in such a way that it will remove the influence of money. As long as the influence of money is there, these bandits, these terrorists, these fraudsters will always find themselves into political offices. Okay. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. That's what I'm saying.
All right, one of the... you want to say
yes. Now, if they do, they find themselves in political offices. Now, are we now saying that our government is populated by bandits
and rogues?
And now, the truth is that once anybody takes the oath of office at any level of governance, the issue of welfare of the citizens, security is part of the oath. In fact, the first thing of the oath anybody is taking in this country, according to our constitution, is I bear allegiance to the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is the first thing before you even take oath, either as a governor or president, or as a chairman of local government, or as senator. Now, what does that imply? It implies that the spirit and the letter of the Constitution, you will protect. So when people now swear to such an oath and they get to office and they see that citizens are being killed, maimed, and they look the other way, that one is also
Perhaps
treason.
because they are benefiting from
They are
it, like you
benefiting.
said.
So what are we saying? Sometimes that is why the government is like Nigerians. We have not really asked enough questions. We have not demanded for our rights. That is the problem. Because government believes that anything they do, we can just murmur and murmur and murmur. In a short while, we forget about it.
Something else comes up
Something
again,
else comes up again. In fact, so I agree with him that the Nigeria political space is highly monetized. Fine. But we, the citizens, we can change the narrative if we begin to place a demand on government. But we are not ready. No, please, let me learn. What I say we are not ready is that the Constitution provides for protest. You can protest vehemently but peacefully against untoward government policies. But do we do that? Nobody wants to die. Freedom is not given, it is taken. So everybody just sit back and complain. And
many will ask you that the one that happened with NSAS, what happened?
That is why I say Nigerians, each time they ask me that question, and the one with NSAS, if you want to take something, you have to plan it, and you have to go for it, and you have to sustain your effort. The NSAS protest, how many months? It didn't last up to a month. And yet, because of what happened at the Lekki toll gate, everybody went home. And we ended it there. In other climes, even what happened at the Lekki toll gate will make the protest to be stronger. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Let me just back you up. I want to back Prof up. When we talked about Arab Spring, what's happened? An individual in Tunisia who was jobless was on the road selling, and they called them Baladia, the local government authority that used to clean the country of all these miscreants. They took his wares and threw it away. The guy became enraged and committed suicide by pouring petrol on himself and went ablaze. That angered the people, and the uprising lasted consistently for many days. The government was brought down.
Yes.
And the president left. He now went back to Egypt. Like that. It's happened in Arab Spring. It's just a very recent history. But there is nobody that is ready to sacrifice anything.
Yes.
Once you are okay, well, everything can go. We are too selfish in this country. Nobody wants to leave his own comfort zone or to champion any cause. Like we discussed earlier, human rights activism died with Gani Fayemi. Since then, what we have is people who are interested in their pockets.
Even though we have the society still. All right, one of the key issues also that this train attack threw up is the problem of records. It's a seem since it happened, we haven't really been able to get the actual number of passengers who were on board that train, as well as the number of abducted passengers, the number of even some people will tell you that even we're not even sure only 8 persons died, like was reported in all of that. And then if you also look at us as a people, it's as if we really would. Just recently, the FG came up to say they just discovered 3,000 fake workers in the federal government's IPPS, payroll, and all of that. And then look at us as a people in terms of population. Since 2016, we ought to have had our census, and up until now, we're still estimating where people.
You are just saying the same thing.
The issue of records, what
That
problems
is it. If a country does not know its number of citizens, how would they know the number of people who are working in a particular ministry? Even in the state governments, they are always doing review, verification. They don't know the number of people who retired. They don't know the number of people who are in the service. They don't know many of them that have died. Are you getting it? So it's a big problem.
Please, don't let us even go into that area. Because if we are really going to go into that area, we will open the can of worms. my own take is that Nigeria is not serious. When I say Nigeria, I mean governments, subsidy governments, the leadership. We are just not serious. Serious about what? Vital registration. We don't have records. It is only in this climb, in the third world countries, especially in Nigeria, that we do multiple registrations. Only last night, I still called with my SIM, but this morning it got blocked. Whereas this NIM, I had already synchronized it for over a year ago when they started. I synchronized my NIM with the phone lines, but they blocked it this morning. What do I want to bring out here is that they themselves, even as a private venture, they don't have the actual record. So now what am I bringing out? It is only in Nigeria, you see somebody, if you want to collect the driver's license, you go through fresh registration. And they take all your particulars, they store it separately. If you want to collect international passport, you start all over again. They take all these things. So if you want to collect ID card with your employer, they start all the fresh registration, take all these things. Name anything you want to register for. If you want to register for INEC, for voters card, they start all over again. One card. There must be a PIN number for each Nigerian. Once that PIN number is logged into the system, it brings out all your data. Nobody questions you again. They don't need to be asking you information. They are here and there. But in Nigeria,
it's as bad as that somebody of my age will have a date of birth.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, you have one.
About three.
Yes.
One is actual,
one is official, one is biological.
One is biological. Even as old as I am now, I can go to any local government or National Population Commission. I say I need a birth certificate, and I will just go to the court and swear to an affidavit that I was born so date, and they will give me.
And that's why we have official age in Nigeria, because we don't have actual record. And look, people die in the hospitals. They're supposed to have death certificate. How many people have death certificate of their dead loved ones? So we have problem with our record.
Even in government hospitals. We give birth to children, and do they even have the records?
They take records when we do.
Which record? Which name do they put there? They can only say, okay, who's a child.
Baby Okewo.
Baby Okewo, baby Abimbola. And if you have about 5 of them, baby, among them? Whereas, immediately you are born.
But it got to a point where you have someone from population, I don't know
Commission.
what you call it.
National Population Commission.
Right there, as you want to register the baby, you can register the baby if you want to. Or when maybe in the course of coming for immunization.
It is not if you. That is what we are saying. If we make it a policy, every hospital, whether private or public,
or even this TBA.
Yes. So anywhere pregnant women are attended to, there must be a computer. There must be a system. So that immediately that child is born, they will give a specific period of hours that you must give a name
to that child.
And that will be
let us, and that is why
we are taking that to the train.
Yes.
So because we don't have what are the records? Somebody can buy a ticket.
Another person's name.
And another person's name. Another person can use the ticket.
But
if we have vital registration, if you buy a ticket, all the times, if you go to the airport now, I bought my ticket. They will still be asking me, please, can we see your ID card? What is the meaning of that? So may I see my face? Or they should have just asked me to put my thumb on their system. It should bring out my data and correspond. But we don't have that.
Still talking about this NIN linkage, a lot of people's numbers have been bad, like you said yours was.
Yes.
And then people are asking questions that, okay, some of these bandits have actually begun contacting the family members of these people who are abducted.
That's why we say we are not serious.
So now we're beginning to ask the question
what is the
as well
use?
that where is there seem to be...
That is what we are saying. You got registered, you register your SIM, you link it up with NIN just like Dr. Abiwala did, yet the number had been bad. So what do we call that? That means there is inefficiency in the system.
Sorry, let me even shock you. In the banking sector, a few years ago, they came up with the idea of BVN, as if BVN was going to be the messiah that will make your account foolproof from theft. Today, with your BVN, People will hack into your account, not just hacking with technology. People will use your ATM, people will clone your ATM, or people will withdraw money, or people will forcefully, they will give you POS. Robbers can give you POS and say, well, they withdraw your money. And after the robbers have left, if you go to your bank, they can't trace them. And there's BVN. No, let's just take a look. That it's just what Mr. Okay, we say that inefficiency is the order of the day.
One of my friends, he lives in Indianapolis in the US. He was arrested some 6 months ago, and just they present as if they didn't see him. Once he was arrested for violating the traffic law, he was arrested and thrown into detention because they ran the check on him. They discovered that he has committed an offense 6 months earlier,
and he had not
been punished for it. So he was punished for that, violating that offense, and now here. But here in Nigeria, criminals walk free. Even if you commit it now, once you are not arrested immediately, you have escaped.
All right, another issue now is the fact that these bandits have, or terrorists, whatever we want to call them, have actually threatened that they will do the unthinkable if the federal government fails to negotiate with them regarding the persons, unknown numbers of persons.
Well, let me just say that I want to agree with El-Rufai when he said that they should not negotiate with them. That the language that terrorists know is being killed.
Of course.
Once you negotiate with them and they have economic power, they now go ahead to buy more weapons.
But are you saying, Baba Tope, that if you had a family member, you would take the stance?
I will take the stand. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, because there was a time in Ondo State that it became very rampant for people to be kidnapped, take 4 million, take 5 million. But once they started arresting, killing some of them, and the Amatekun swung into action, they fled the community and went other places. It's not that such thing is still not happening. But once it has to do with economic power, you have to be very, very careful. Because there was a video that trended sometimes. The woman was in the shop and was saying, they've not seen him in the market again selling his petty things. I said, no, since my husband has joined the banditry and you are having more money now, we cannot afford, I cannot afford to be selling such a thing. It has become, if it's
a business venture.
Business venture. Once it becomes business venture, it is very difficult for it to be cured. So the best thing for the government to do is to
go
offensive.
So
they know where they are.
And that is
okay. They know where they are.
That is why I said we are talking about the political will
to do it.
To do it. You know, when this thing started, they called them bandits. And where many Nigerians were pressurizing government, declared these people terrorists. Even the National Assembly members, they passed several resolutions and motions calling on the government to declare these people terrorists. The government did not listen. Only recently, government signed. And even signing them as terrorists, government is still referring to them as bandits. What are we talking about? Because when you declare some set of people terrorists, the implication is that you have declared total war on them. And so you can use the maximum force. You understand? For human rights purposes, it doesn't work there any longer. But if you are still taking that these are criminals, human rights will dictate that you cannot go offensive against them. You have to arrest and let them go through the normal legal process. But for terrorists, you don't need that. Nobody will accuse you anywhere. You go offensive. That is why I said the government, and now the thing is becoming more difficult for government. If government has heeded this some few years ago when they said, declare these people terrorists, they are more than criminals and bandits.
Many are even beginning to ask the Tucano jet we bought, what is it?
I have also asked. The Tucano jets we bought. The issue is that, is it not human beings that are going to operate this thing? Will they not take command, take directive or take orders from their bosses? These are the issues. If you listen to some of our military guys talk behind the scene, off air, off the camera, you will weep for this country. that sometimes some of them, innocently, their lives are being put on the line without any reason, because they meant well to go and fight for the country. It's like there is a fifth columnist. Somewhere something is wrong with this thing. Is it not when we had not even advanced technologically up to this point, when we were fighting a common, when we were sending people on peacekeeping mission all over the world, to the United Nations, they always commend Nigerian soldiers, Nigerian military personnel. They always come back with galas and awards.
So what's the
What
problem
is the
with
problem
them
now?
having it in
That's why I said
That's what I'm saying. Are you getting it now? So the best language that terrorists understand is maximum force. Once you start to negotiate with them, take for instance, maybe they claim to have arrested or to have taken about 20 people into captivity, and you are saying, okay, bring 250 million for each of them. You know how much money they will have to procure weapons. So as long as people negotiate with them, as long as they get more ransom, and people are paying ransom, they will continue to be emboldened. They will have more weapons. Look at what you said about the number of cycles they came with, the number of pilot buses. A gun, AK-47, is not cheap. We are talking about 500,000 to procure one, and they came with sophisticated ones. All of them, about 2 of them on a bike, having one. That is, on that operation, each motorcycle will be costing about 2 million, including the motorcycle. Yes. So where would they get money to service all those things? Once you stop the stream of income, definitely they will be forced to kiss the canvas. During the Biafra War, I read that late Awolowo, Obafemi Awolowo said, we are fighting these people, and you are supplying for them, you are feeding them. They will be emboldened. Stop the supply. And what happened? The war ended. Are you getting it? They didn't forgive him throughout his lifetime, but it ended the war. So as long as people give them money, they negotiate with them. They take 10 million, they take 5 million, they take millions of naira. They will be emboldened and continue to adopt people for ransom.
Okay, so you take the stance that it should not
no negotiation.
No, yes, I support that. No negotiation.
All right, let's talk about the NRC boss. Now he said on national television that they had hints, knowing what has been happening in Kaduna State, they had hints that there could be a likely attack on the train on that route, and that they made sure that each coach had about 2 policemen, and they had about 9 coaches, a total of 18 policemen. However, they were not really prepared for such an attack, and then one begins to wonder, why have them there and not really be prepared?
Guys, we are talking about efficiency, that there is gross inefficiency in our operations. And mind you, Kaduna is the epicenter of our military architecture. More than half of our military investment is in Kaduna. More than half. Kaduna State alone, out of the 36 states, it's only the divisions in Enugu, 2 mechanized division in Ibadan, the one in Enugu and where.
Doesn't that make you wonder?
So what am I bringing out?
Boldness.
All the military institutions, tertiary is the middle level, the
NDA.
The middle level. Those are some lower levels. Then the tertiary and the superior institutions of the military, both in the army, in the navy. There is no water in Kaduna. The naval, the air force, the army, all these key institutions, they are in Kaduna, and they are not just there in name alone. They are there with all the supporting resources and facilities.
Yet it seems that they're vulnerable.
Now, for Kaduna to be this vulnerable, that's why I'm saying there is more than meets the eye in this matter. Even states that don't even have any military base, they are not as attacked as Kaduna. That's to tell you that something is wrong somewhere.
So what is it about?
What is wrong? The government must look inwards. Government must look in. Mr. Okewo is talking about. Was talking about the economic power that the sponsors have. Since they have economic power, is government blind? Is government blind that it cannot see those who are sponsoring? These are the issues. Now, even if, let's say that government is not even investing in intelligence, some state governors, some other people are investing in intelligence, and Alhaji Gora said that the governor of Kaduna State, in all the 23 local governments, in Google surveillance and whatever, security has invested, and they will provide this intelligence to government, and yet something will still happen. It's not only in Kaduna, it has happened several times. I just mentioned that of Benue State. They will provide this intelligence that this place is likely to be attacked, yet government will not take it seriously. It's after the attack had been carried out successfully, and we are counting our woes. Then people will now say, we told government, no, government is not doing anything. That's why I'm saying something is wrong somewhere. Why Kaduna? In fact, if any place will be attacked, Kaduna should be the last of the states in this country.
Now, in addendum, why I will not blame the police? We are talking of 2 policemen in a coach. And we are talking about the number of high-load vehicles and the number of buses that came. They will be overwhelmed, overpowered. So you cannot actually blame the security men attached to the
Do you think
the
the
coach.
NRC, talking about the federal government now, was prepared enough?
It wasn't.
They don't take in Nigeria. I'm sorry. In Nigeria, we are reactive. We are not proactive.
That is it.
That's the problem. If they had taken caution, probably it wouldn't have happened.
Is it not in the same Kaduna? This Kaduna we are talking about, people are just talking it's because we are not there. If we are there, we know that the Kaduna had been devastated. I know about Kajuru, name them, about 3 local governments in the last few years that have been taken over by terrorists. Last year, there was local government election in Kaduna State. They couldn't hold in those 3. They did not go there. The Electoral Commission did not go there. It's like they have ceded those 3 local governments.
How many have they ceded to Niger State, to the terrorists?
So now what I'm
almost
saying,
have.
Yes, what I'm
and
saying
this is the border of Abuja.
Now, what I'm saying is that if at this level, NRC knows how vulnerable Kaduna is, coupled with the fact that they now gave them intelligence that their facility might be attacked, and you are just putting 2 policemen. What is even what amount of weapon and magazine do they have? So they said they tried their best. Those policemen, kudos to them. They tried their best because they said they engaged them for almost 1 hour before they ran out of ammunitions. So that is to say that our security people, they are not to blame. They are ready if we do the needful. Who are the way? The government. That's why I said government must look inwards.
In talking about being ready, our people are ready. We also have...
That is, they have the willingness to defend the country. I mean, the security agencies in this country.
But it's also in this country that we had people, when Ukraine called for volunteers, we actually had Nigerians who were willing to go volunteer. But do you think...
Let me just tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing.
That they're being overwhelmed.
There are some countries, especially...
Sorry, before you make your contribution. Obi, if you are saying that Nigerians, they were ready to go to Ukraine, that should they not join our military? Who tells you that they were not ready? Every day, any recruitment, if they want to recruit 1,000, you will see over 20,000. Justly. So what I'm saying is that it's not that Nigerian youths are not ready, but are you inviting them? Are you ready to hire them?
Yes. You have even said my mind. You have spoken my mind. But I want to add something. Let me tell you, in the Middle East, Israel and all those countries around there is a compulsory thing for the citizens to have military training.
Yes.
This 1 year that we do,
NYC. No, it's only 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks that they give you some minimal exercises.
No, what they give you a stick as a gun. But there, you are trained to have, you are a military man. If you, after the 1 year military training, if you want to go to the military, it's automatic employment. If you want to go to other venture, very good. Are you getting it? I think it is high time the government looks into that and make sure that our youths who are interested in joining the military, in joining the police, in joining other arms of government are allowed to be. If today they want to employ people in the police, go to the police headquarters, lobbying. People even pay money. They bribe to get employed into the police, into the army. So it's not that they are not willing. Just like Dr. Abimbola said, it is because there is no space for them.
There's no space, so they're not
Yes.
to take them in the government.
Yes, of course. And more importantly, you cannot actually blame government. Sometimes they will say, where is the money to pay them?
Then the issue of
So that's the
police
problem.
to play again, state policing that we have been talking
We have always said that as a person, I support that the state should have its own police and be armed. Like we have Amotekun, it's just a pseudo state police, but they are not well armed because what they are carrying cannot face.
Their mandate is limited.
It's limited.
Highly limited. They are highly handled.
They cannot do.
Imagine.
Yet they are achieving what they are
Yes,
achieving.
They are trying. It's commendable.
If Amotekun is licensed to bear sophisticated
With weapons.
sophisticated arms with what they are doing now, you see the impact.
The impact.
These are the issues. Now, all this is just telling us that over-centralizing everything in Nigeria has expired. We are just playing the expired politics, expired structure. This structure has expired. It can no longer carry us. It was Agu Irosin that started this unitary structure. Because in the First Republic, there was true federalism. But the first military coup in 1966, they were the one that changed it and made it unitary. And so succeeding, that is why I don't want to blame anybody from any section. They say it is the northerners. It was not the northerners that started it. Somebody started it, but some people started enjoying it and they don't want to get out of it. So, but all of us must come together and say, I still believe in the unity of Nigeria. There is strength in us being together. In fact, we can achieve more if we are together. But our marriage must be negotiated. You cannot force this marriage on us. It's like it's being forced on us. Unitary. The system of education in Akure here, you still want somebody in Guso to be operating. Culturally, we are different. That is why we must decentralize, including security. The security challenge, Alhaji Gora was saying it, that even in the southwest, south, or whatever, where you have this IPOP and whatever, that the security challenge in each region and even in each state or local government differs. Why are we now, everything is one unitary command? We are not talking about army or military. What of the police? How come that given our diversity, we are still holding on to uniform unitary police in this country? It can't work.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Gbenga Abimbola, for coming on the vacation, sharing your views with us regarding this issue at hand.
It is my pleasure.
Many thanks to you as well, Baba Tope Okewo. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure as well.
Till we'll come your way same time next week with another exciting, burning issue that affects you and I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti saying bye for now.
Naija, good times are here. Enjoy great internet at a pocket-friendly price with FlowZap. FlowZap is now in Naija. FlowZap is an internet solution company with innovative, cost-effective, unlimited broadband that's fast and reliable. FlowZap is truly unlimited and can connect up to 50 users at a go with no worries. It also supports wired and Wi-Fi connections. FlowZap is safe and secure with unlimited data usage. It is portable, very easy to set setup. And the best part, it's a flat rate every month for just a little fee. And you don't even need a SIM card to connect. To enjoy fast and truly unlimited internet, call FlowZap now on 0807-019-9967. Or you can chat us up on WhatsApp on 0915-979-3650. Visit www.flowzap.net for more info. FlowZap, your innovative, cost-effective, unlimited broadband.
Bami Moses Akiwalo Don Makide Gontarigi Ajanako Showoli Koko. Kété ọmọ àti ẹbí Bami Moses Akiwalo Don Makide yóò sùn nínú Olúwa níjọ́ kẹ́ni oṣù kẹ́ni ọdún 2022. Ẹ mú àsìkò yìí kéde ètò ìsìnkú àbá wọn. A gbé òkú àbá ní First Mercy Hospital Àkúrẹ́ wá sí ilé ẹ̀ lórí number 47 Makide Street Technical Road Yaba Odòdè Udan ní ọjọ́ Friday April 8 ọdún yẹ 2022. Àìsùn aṣálẹ̀ onígbàgbọ́ á bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní dédé aago 4 lọ́jàlẹ́. Ló bá ti di ọjọ́ Sátidé ọjọ́ 9 ará àbá aláwọ̀ kalẹ̀ ní Makide Event Center. Ètò ìjáde àti ìdúpẹ́ àtàlẹ́ ní ìjọ CAC Òkè Ayọ̀ Zone Yaba Udan. Ayẹyẹ ìgbanilálejò ní Ọlọ́fẹ́ Grammar School. Ọ̀dọ̀lá ọmọ yèyé ẹ̀fà ní Bọ̀ní. Ọmọ bẹ̀wà ní Bọ̀pọ̀. Ọmọ Rúnkà Kẹ̀ṣọ́ sí. Ọmọ Ṣùpá ńlá yóò ràn tòdejà wá. Ọmọ Kàyọ́ Fídógún máa ja òdejà òdìjọ́ gòdì máa bìtìbìtì. Kété ọmọ àti ọmọ àwọn olùkéde yìí.
Easter is here again, and it is time to celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, who died to redeem our sins. This is why Osrc Television, Orange 94.5 FM, and Sunshine 96.5 FM Alalaye are inviting churches, schools, organizations, business entities, and others to take advantage of the various programs that we have lined up for you to promote your goods and services at very affordable prices on our TV and radio channels. On Lenten Talks, churches, Christian organizations, priests, reverends, and individuals will have the opportunity to talk about the significance of Easter. And on Orin Ajinde Easter songs, religious organizations and schools will be raising their voices to the Most High to commemorate Easter. And to cap it all, business owners and organizations will have the opportunity to promote their products and services at very reduced rates on Osrc Television.